Before we pass out certificates, before we do awards, before we recognize these guys and stuff, I want to highlight a few things about this group of guys. And so often, obviously at this level, we're very performance-based. And so I want to show some of the results here of what these guys were able to accomplish. First of all, just in terms of overall record, including playoffs in there, unbelievable turnaround in 1 year from last year at 8-15 team. Great group of guys, but 16-9 overall, best overall record in 5 years, and only one loss at home all year. Okay, very impressive. Although we tried to talk about it at times on rankings and what rankings mean to us and how we don't get too caught up in them, I do want to know kind of where things left for us. Our final RPI ranking from the WIA format in the state of Washington was 16, but in the max practice format, we cracked the top 10 at 9. That's a huge accomplishment. Tied for third place in the GSL. A couple notes here. Coach just mentioned how our philosophy is being very systematic as a program, meaning we have goals in the way that we want to try to play on both sides of the ball. Those decisions try to be as educated as possible, and then we try and layer those for each level and teach them as kids move up in our program. That's why we really, really value our younger levels. And you can see, and one thing I guess I failed to mention is when I came here 3 years ago, my first year I was the JV coach for Coach Redmond, and then he retired, I took over. But other than Duran, who joined us this year, and Paulo, who was on the varsity team, even Jessup swung down that year, my first year, and these guys were sophomores. I've been with them ever since then. And if you just, take an example of a defense, for example, what you see on the floor and how hard these guys play and all those things do, those are all things that they learn year after year after year. So when they play and the pressure is really high, they can just react and perform at a really high level. And so with that being said, we ended up in GSL League play, the best scoring defense, meaning overall, we held our opponents to the lowest average in the entire league at 49 points. That's really, really hard to do. That's really hard to do, to keep teams below 50. So going along with that, we held our opponents, and this is something that we took great pride in. We held our opponents to less than 10 points per game of their average. Not, again, for time's sake, you could go to probably leading scorers of their teams, and you can find a lot of correlation with that. That's their buy-in, that's their work, that's these guys' work with the scout report and having a team completely bought in to doing all of those things every single night. And I think we took great pride in that, in knowing that we're the type of team that we value that if we're going to have a chance to compete to win, we're going to have to play about our best every single night. As you guys know, our league is really, really difficult. And so the proof was in the pudding there. On top of that, just a few notes underneath there too. This is just a testament to the hard work that these guys put in, and that's a big number. In that our offensive averages from last year to this year was 10 points higher per team. That just takes time and work. And lastly here is just the scoring numbers and stuff. Scoring balance is huge. When you watch teams, and again, us going into the playoffs as far as we went, and the teams that play in state, they have multiple guys that on every night can lead them on the offensive end, depending on the strength of the defense and their opponents. We had tremendous balance this year. Multiple games where we had every player score, and then on top of that, we had nights where we had 5 different guys be our leading scorer. Okay, tremendous amount of balance. Big regular season wins. Obviously, I think we started to really build some belief in what we were doing going down to Walla Walla, and I think that was a fond memory for these guys. And I can strictly remember, and I won't repeat what Demo and I talked about, but ball wall is warming up, and they do an awesome job. The lights go dim. They got brand new strobe lights in this big show, and that's awesome and stuff. And I think it just kind of fueled our fire to get going right then. 20-point win down at Walla Walla. Prep here, obviously, first time in a long time. Prep at home. We got U-High the second time. Big overtime thriller. At Cheney at their place. And then again, when it counted, and I understand, unfortunately, the arena game did not go the way that we wanted. But that was a non-league game, okay? Not to take moral victories. That was a non-league game. But when it really mattered for GSL standings, the second time around, right? What's the challenge? The challenge is who has improved more since the last time that you played? I think we beat the other South Hill team by 21, right? Yeah, I know.
You don't even say the name.
And then just to again highlight our postseason run, great buzzer beater win at Kamiakin. Just created a ton of energy in moving us forward. It's hard to win down there. Kamiakin's a really storied program in their own. And so to get them in their place with our backs against the wall, move on, and end their season was super special. To advance to a quote winner to state game, it has been a while since our program has done that. And those things, as probably a lot of you guys have followed, playing Richland, you know, Richland is Eastern Washington perennial power. And to have to play them twice, both at their place, is a really tough ask. And so, obviously, the second time losing them was tough, but if you followed them, not to hang your heads on, they ended up going, making a great run at state, losing in the championship game, being runners-up in 4A. It's an unbelievable playoff. Okay, we'll recognize these guys one by one here with certificates, and then we'll mix in some awards and some other things, and then we'll let them grab their banner that hung in the gym for them throughout the year. First year varsity basketball leader, Jackson Mott, sophomore. All right, first year varsity basketball leader, junior, Asher Jensen. Before we go to Duran here, I do just want my last thank you here. My last thank you to these seniors, these 9 seniors here. So I think a group like this, I think about a coaching career, and I truly believe that you only get a group of kids like this a few times in your career. To have 9 guys, 8 of them obviously start out really young together, adding a real special member, Duran, this year. It was an absolute joy every day. Absolute joy. Coming to practice every day with these guys, it's the type of guys that you want to just give absolutely everything that you have for. And so they were an absolute joy. Again, like I said, I've coached for 16 years. And I promise you, this was my favorite group. This was my favorite. I want to thank them for all their commitment just to this program. Again, I've asked these guys over their career to do things above and beyond just the regular season, and they definitely never had to do any of these things, and they never hesitated. Visiting middle schools with me, visiting elementary schools to get the future generation of Tigers excited. Commitment, everything that we asked them to do in the offseason, the time to put in, the standard that they tried to build for this program moving forward. Being committed unbelievably in the summertime. That 1 month of June is super precious. So to get them all bought in to do those things is huge. And then lastly, as I kind of mentioned here, these guys have laid a foundation we feel that's special and unique for this program moving forward. And I would say this, you talk about programs or companies, athletic programs turning the corner and creating a new culture. The first year is the hardest one. It's the hardest one to do that. You got to go through more adversity. There's going to be more bumps in the road. And these guys just stayed true to the process. We talked about all year long. The path to success is never a straight line. it's curvy, it's bumpy. You got to push through those things. And we just kept focusing on our process, right? Our process, how we prepare, how hard we work, how much we, love one another and come and work hard with one another and buy in and learn and grow and compete every day is, as Coach Smith, I think, said it better than anybody, they raised the bar a tremendous amount this year. And so again, I want to thank you guys more than anything. Thank you so much. All right, let's give some certificates out. Okay, first varsity basketball player with Lewis and Clark, Duran. Okay, second varsity basketball winner, senior Caleb. Okay, Sam Toure, second varsity basketball winner. And team award here, our first team award winner that our team solely votes on. Sam earned Mr. Tiger Team Award. Okay, Ben Branson Sr. Zimmerman on a college trip. And Brett also. Brett also voted on by his teammates was most improved player of the year. Okay, David Morgan. Demo and Sam tied for Mr. Tiger Team Award. Okay, LJ Lou, third varsity basketball winner, senior. Player of the year by his varsity teammates. Also, really cool thing, and we had a couple of them this year, just to make note before we hand that out to Luke. Last year, I challenged these guys, and we kind of took that as a chip on our shoulder. Last year, us and Ridgeline were the only two varsity teams not to have a player voted all league. And just so you understand how that works, and I clarified this last year, every head coach gets a ballot, and you put in 10 votes plus an MVP. The only rule is, as a coach, you can't vote for any of your own players. There's no lobbying, there's none of that stuff. You fill it out, you send it in, our league director tallies everything up. So you have an MVP, 5 first team, 5 second team, and then 5 honorable mention, depending on what the number cutoff is. It's a pretty special honor. It's a pretty elite group. And so to go from last year to this year and having 3 of those is pretty special. Okay, a testament to these guys. Our first one, Luke, was all GSL All League honorable mention. And then lastly, before we move on from Luke, okay, one thing that's also really cool is that for a long time, on the girls' side, they've done a game called the Jack Blair Invitational, where they take about the top 20 high school girls from around the region, and they play an all-star game. After COVID, Dave Nichols, who writes prep sports for the Spokesman, wanted to do that on the guys' side. So this is in year 2 of it. We host it here at Lewis and Clark. There's a lot of basketball tradition here at this school. However, last year we hosted it, which we're happy to do. We didn't get any players voted into that. This year it's pretty neat. We had 2 players. It's not necessarily the all-league list. It's voted on by the sports writers in and around our region. And Luke Jessup has been nominated to play in that game here on March 26th, the Spokesman Review Spring Showcase. LJ. Couldn't be here tonight. He's with Zim, traveling in Utah. Parker Pincock, senior captain, second-year varsity basketball winner, second-year varsity captain. Parker received GSL All-League second team. Second team. And Parker, along with Luke, were our 2 players that will also nominated to play in the Spokesman Review Spring Showcase. Pretty cool thing. Oh, okay. And lastly, senior captain, second-year varsity captain, 4-year varsity basketball winner, senior Paulo Murray. Come on down. Lastly here, Paulo was also voted on by the head coaches here in the league, GSL All-League second team. If we could give a round of applause one more time.